You are watching our new series on Tactical Enlightenment, When Things Go Badly, created to show situations where my tactical plans either failed altogether or the enemy overcame them and we were forced to adapt to changing battlefield conditions. Hopefully this series inspires in you an even stronger desire to always fight on and persevere in the face of extreme challenges.
All right, friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This YouTube channel is dedicated to showing you huge battles in Bannerlord and then giving you the advanced field tactics you need to win your own huge battles. We got kind of trapped here. We were making a foray into Khazate / Northern Empire territory here, and I got kind of cornered after taking one of their castles here. So we're severely outnumbered. We've been able to load the RTS mod a few times successfully lately, but in this battle I'm going to use half player damage. I know some people aren't thrilled about that, but I've also had plenty of people on the other side that say they want to see me issuing commands running around the battlefield, and it's of course much easier to do that from the main character. For surveying the landscape here, I've got a nice little area to pull up to. I think we're going to try to defend the area though of this swampy area. I've fought 2 or 3 battles on this particular map before. And what's nice about it is there's this swamp down in the middle where if you can get the enemy to sort of get funneled down there, their movement is dramatically slowed. And of course against Khazate, they're going to have lots of horse archers, other cavalry, and if we can slow them down, it'll be a lot easier for our archer-heavy army here to take their shots and kill them. We are severely outnumbered here. I'm probably going to use 1 cav line as a shield wall. The second will probably be used more offensively, and the third will probably either be in a square or a shield wall a lot of the battle, and kind of see how that goes. I'm also probably going to use my infantry, this 1st Infantry Division, in a square out as sort of as bait for the enemy. If you can get horse archers attacking your units that are in a defensive posture, while your archers and other units, javelin throwers, attack them, it gives you a shot. Needless to say, though, we stand a pretty good chance of being captured in this battle. We're outnumbered much worse than 3 to 1, so I'm not optimistic going into this battle. Been a while since our army's been captured. Of course, in Bannerlord, that's one of the keys to a successful campaign, is avoiding being captured, because all your units, effectively disappear. Right, all your valuable troops. You have to pay a bunch of ransoms for all your other companions. Numero uno key to having a good campaign in Bannerlord is rarely losing. Okay, they're all the way across the marsh. What I want to try to do is have them pull around so that the horse archers are coming through the marsh, right? I want them attacking us, and I don't want the horse archers on the far bank there up that snowy hill, because not only will they be hard to attack up in the woods like that, but they'll be moving faster. So you want to, in a situation like this, if you can get the enemy to come across the marsh, and I'm positioning my troops here so they sort of have to approach us across the marsh, this slowed down marsh definitely gives us some chance of pulling this battle off. I will be dragging the 7th Corps behind me a lot. The 7th Corps is our horse archers, and you can see we have 12. So 12 and myself, and I imagine they're going to have 150, maybe 200 horse archers. We've certainly got our hands full. Now you can see what I'm doing here with the 2nd Cav. I will use them to attack. They have a banner that gives bonuses to damage in the charge. But right now I'm having them protect our skirmishers and 4th and 5th archers. Right, it's a wall of shields in front of these units. Of course, it's not going to block every arrow, but any targets that the horse archers take that are not my soft archers here will greatly benefit us in this battle. Over on this right side of the flank, we have the 6th, which is our skirmishers. The 3rd Cav is in a square, and then the 8th Corps, of course, my elite knights. We're going to try to fly in here. I'm going to have to be doing a lot of killing in this kind of battle. If it was even close to a fair fight, I could do a lot more generalship and just sit back. But first, I love to kill horse archers. My very fast pole arm is just custom made to kill these guys. It's probably the most devastating weapon against horse archers, right? Because it usually kills in 1, sometimes 2 blows. And of course they're distracted, right? These guys are busy taking shots at my troops, and so I'm going to take advantage of that. If you've never tried a slashable polearm from a horse, to me it's one of the most powerful weapons in the game, right? If you've never had a polearm. Now you want to have a quick polearm here, because the Khans guards, they have polearms too, and they have very high attack speed. If they block and you have a slow polearm, you're going to get slashed across the face and lose a fifth of your health or more. Oh, this is beautiful. They're charging right through our troops here. We're going to have the 6th and 5th attack these guys, and then the 8th Corps attack as well. They're basically making a mistake here. They're charging a bulldog here. Not a good decision. Our guys are slung into action all of a sudden. The screen, of course, is green. And on their way out, we give them a little fucking parting gift here. Death. Now you can pursue here, but you got to be careful the distance you pursue, because not only will they turn, but their enemy reinforcements and archers are right there. So I'm not going to go too far. You'll see me kind of cycling back and forth each time. They've got heavy cav on both of our flanks. I've got to keep an eye on these guys as well. But what we're effectively basically doing here is cycling with the horse archers. The horse archers will cycle in and out, and that's what we're going to do as well. We're going to hold fire when they're out of range, right, or when they're getting out of range. And then when they're approaching us, typically you'll see me open fire. Yeah, see that guy. Fortunately, I have a lot of hit points, and I do have the reduced damage on my main character. Yeah, fall back. That'll be the last thing you ever said there, Gon. Fall back, and then he gets eviscerated. They've got heavy cav over on this side as well. That's why I'm remaining to keep that horse archer division in a shield wall in front of my archers. I use cav more defensively than most players. You can use them offensively, of course. What I think about it is like chess. You want to be using your units in both an offensive and defensive manner, right? When you make a move in chess, one of the keys is to counter whatever the enemy's doing, and then of course put pressure on your enemy with that move. Not just defend your own units, defend your queen, defend your king, but you also want to put pressure on the enemy by making moves that have multiple purposes. So we're dragging our cav back. You can see the 1st infantry there in a nice square. The 6th is also in a square, but I see archers in there, so we'll probably, for now, it's fine just to have them defending. This early stage here, while we're sparring with their horse archers, it's really fine to be defensive with any troops that can hold a shield up. Yeah, reform the 2nd and 3rd lines. I'll reform them regularly. I'll be flying in for battle. Take a look at their... see what they got over here. Yeah, they got almost 400 troops there. But their horse archers have dwindled down, right? They started with, I think, 200 and something. They're down to 70. So we've done a number on them. They still have heavy cav over here. I'm going to try to pick off these Khans guards, though, before they get a horse. Right, guys that are dismounted, they will seek a horse. Of course, they're much more vulnerable on the ground. If you can just sweep in and mow them down like they're archers, that's definitely a priority. A lot of times against horse archers, what I'll do, yeah, you see that guy trying to swing at me. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll create a barrier right in front of where they're trying to cycle back, because if you can kill their momentum with a cav line or an infantry line, then your archers can shoot at static, standing objects. Okay, their cav is charging us on this flank. If horse archers are standing still, if you can bound them up somehow, you can do major damage to them. Okay, we're countering this with the 8th Corps. We're going to have the 8th attack here. I'm still dragging the 2nd and 7th Corps because it's critical that they don't get heavy cav behind our archers here. In a battle like this, I effectively bounce around, attacking the most urgent threat. See, the horse archers are peeled back, and so we go after their cav. This is another example, though, why you want to attack in concentration. You want to attack with your units together. The enemy's kind of attacking sort of hodgepodge here. They're rushing their heavy cav up, then their horse archers. They really should be attacking with both and bringing their infantry forward with archer support behind them in a concentrated attack. Since they aren't, we take advantage of it. Alright, let's try this. Now I've got our 2nd Corps, our Cav Corps, right behind me here. And what I basically, fuck, I'm taking another shot. What I basically want them doing, I'm trying to position them right in front of these guys so they can't move. Our horse archers are now standing still, and they're being shot with arrows. Right, this is a very bad recipe for the AI, for the Khazate forces here. You see, they can't move. There's a line of heavy cav in front of them, and we can sort of slaughter them in our leisure without them being able to run away. Anytime you can do that, or even better, if you can pin them against like those rock faces there, you can just massacre them with a high rate of efficiency. And a high rate of efficiency is critical in this battle because we're so badly outnumbered. If we're not achieving a kill ratio of at least 3 to 1, this battle is over. At some point, I may retreat up this valley a little ways, because what I'd like their infantry and archers to do is peel back. What I want them to do is effectively come towards us and then have to peel back. They will try to reform at some point. If I can get them so that they're still in the marsh, in other words, while we're attacking them, they're still in the deep marsh there, and then make an attack on them, right? Bring our forces back and then forward. As they approach forward, they will have to retreat through the marsh or be pinned against those rocks. And if we can do that, of course, we can concentrate firepower. We can bring archers up in a hurry to attack them. And any of their units that are trying to reform or gain distance, like their archers, we can ride down with our heavy cav. By keeping our heavy cav and shield wall out of this battle, of course, a lot of our cav, it looks like they're badly injured, but what they have is they have 26 arrows in the shield. Of course, I have to say, as a war historian, that was not really a thing. Like, you know, sure, arrows would accumulate in shields, but the weight of all those arrows would make it almost impossible to carry a shield like that, at least without being severely fatigued. Like, if you had 30 arrows in your shield and you're trying to hold it up to chest level, and I get into conversations / arguments with subscribers sometimes saying that, you know, these guys are all elite athletes and incredibly strong. That's true, but they're still mortal. Nobody can hold a 50-pound weight in front of them for a half hour, 45 minutes without getting severely fatigued. I don't care who you are. And I say that as a firefighter, as someone who works out 6 days a week. Anyways, I digress here. So we've got our cav is protecting themselves. You can see on this side over here, I have the third cav, stretching them into a longer line. We know that the enemy generally attacks at tangents that are close to 180 towards the front of the enemy. In other words, they don't typically charge you from behind. That's an unfortunate part of the AI. The RBM, the Realistic Battle mod, does fix that to some level. But if you know the enemy only attacks you in vanilla from sort of your front forward angles, then you can predictably protect your troops with these cav shield walls. You know, I know that's sort of, so you can see them charging up there to our cav. I know that's sort of suboptimal, but that's the game mechanics, right? So that's what we're playing with here. We're playing by the rules. Look at them all. They're all bound up here in our cav, and I can just fly through here like a weed whacker, killing all the fucking Northern Empire weeds that are here. Right, they're all jammed up. They lost all their momentum. A few of them are trickling through now, but look how slow they're moving, right? A lot of these guys lost all their charge momentum, and they're getting massacred. It's like a full screen of grain. To pick off these stragglers back here and mow them down at my leisure. Okay, their infantry and archers are still hanging way back. So we're probably going to pull further up this valley to continue to try to pull them out of the marsh. I know that sounds strange. I said I want to fight them in the marsh. What I want is I want them to be right at the edge of the marsh, so that if they decide to retreat, they either have two choices: retreat through the marsh, which will be really slow, or they'll have to retreat on that narrow side area where I think I can channel them, trap them, and then hammer them with archers. I think either way, if I can get them to come to this swamp edge here, we can destroy their main vanguard. Yeah, these fucking pussies. You guys attacked us, man. 3,500 against 1,000. Come get it. It looks like we're going to have to lure these fucks in. So that's just a resetting of the formation, right? Third on the left, second on the right. These are cav lines. Infantry in the front, first and sixth right behind them, and then fourth, fifth archers directly behind those troops. I continue to drag the seventh. I want a shield, but no, I've got too many javelins. If you try to grab a shield before one of your full bags of javelins is expended, you'll actually just end up dumping like a weapon or something like that. It's not what you want. So these troops should start approaching us. So I don't... Maybe I need to move back a little bit more. A lot of times in battles like this, the enemy's fairly methodical, which is, you know, that's how a real battle would be fought. They're not just... Look at all the arrows and the shields. In a real battle, of course, it would be measured. They wouldn't just charge headlong. The AI does seem to be making some adjustments. This is... I think I'm in 1.27 here, this mod version or game version, and they seem to be making more cognizant efforts to be sort of tactically, what's the correct word, prudent, instead of just charging along headlong, which would have played right into our strategy. They're very methodical, very deliberate in their approach. Alright, so they're near the edge of the marsh. It's time for us to move our units now into range, where we can start shooting at these guys. And what I want now is I want to collapse upon them with my infantry lines and cavalry. Of course, they still have horse archers, but it's greatly diminished, right? Instead of, whatever, 200 and something units, now they have like 20, 30 heavy cav. This does not represent a major threat. Their vanguard does, though, so they have 207 archers and 134 infantry. Going down by the second. And that is now vulnerable. You see where these guys are. They're in a very vulnerable state. It's time to attack. Bringing our units forward. We're going to try to get line of sight here with our archers. I'd love to set my archers up on that far bank over there, because if I can do that, of course, then they can shoot them from the enfilade fire from the protection of that ridge, right? They'll be able to shoot down into the marsh and cause great damage while the rest of our troops attack hand to hand. So this is just me essentially moving my formation, right? We're trying to close now to the enemy, and the enemy is really kind of trapped here. If they do retreat, of course, we're going to recklessly attack, full-on attack. But if they just sort of sit here and wait for our attack, we're going to attack, and it's not going to be a positive outcome for the enemy. We still have ammunition. We still have archers with arrows because we've been holding fire. We've been very prudent with our use of archers. We're bringing our infantry forward in a square. I'm kind of hoping to lure their main vanguard to attack it. Right, you want them to attack this defensive force. We're firing in some javelins here to further soften them up. And now it's time to cause some carnage with their archers. Our guys are shooting. Their archers are sort of distracted back here. There's hardly any arrows being shot towards the back of their ranks. And now I have cav running through their archers, causing chaos. Methodically moving in units. Right, now we're starting to move the 6th towards them. They are going to get reinforcements like mid-battle here. In fact, I think they either just got them or they're pulling back. It's just our opportunity. We've got to move quick. I moved the 5th with the protecting shield wall up by them, a cav line, and we're going to fly in here and do some interrupting / damage. When the archers are trying to shoot at your troops and trying to reform, relocate, that's when you want to send your cav in. Even if you suffer losses, if you can interrupt these archers, if you can do exactly what we're doing, causing them to sort of run around with consternation, we can do great damage to them, because our archers are now moving in position sort of behind me up on that ridge and are going to be able to fire down here in the valley. Of course, they do have reinforcements now. They have another 100 horse archers here, so this is going to be a bloody exchange. But those archers up there basically have a free shot. All those guys can shoot down in the valley, get another cav line in front of them so they can't get charged. 240. God, they still have 500 troops down here. We fucking fly in. Maniac time. Units are charging. The 8th Corps is in here, so you're going to see a lot of kills from our family members. Of course, we're going to lose some of them. We just lost one. I'm kind of glancing up at the upper right there. The upper right is almost like a battlefield advisor. If it's all red, you need to assess your strategy, right? You need to assess what's going on. But if it's mostly green like this, it's kind of like literally your green light to continue your tactics. I'll glance up there every once in a while. I see green, green, green. I see a lot of the named companions getting kills. But if it starts turning sort of moderately red, right? If they start getting a kill for every one of our kills, then it's time to pull back, regroup, and reassess our own strategy. It's starting to turn red. Of course, a lot of our units were already injured before this battle happened, before this last sally happened, so we're going to suffer losses. I don't think we've even got a single tranche of reinforcements yet. So it makes sense that a lot of our injured troops are now starting to drop. That's just unavoidable. Right, you're not going to defeat I think you start with 250 against their 750 in a battle like this, right there. We're outnumbered 3-1. And we're obviously not going to be able to defeat this gigantic force without expending at least one, entire group of troops, right? They're all going to be killed, or at least injured. Okay, those archers up there, I think they're still shooting. I can't be sure through the fog and the mist. I can't really see arrows raining through there, right? The visibility in this battle is a little bit challenging. But I think they're still shooting, and I'm going to leave them up there for a little while. It is about time to pull back, though. It's about time we got reinforcements. We got about we've got about 170, 180 troops left, so we're not going to get reinforcements for at least a little bit. Pulling back again up to this ridge, right? We're going to use the same positioning because I want to be both uphill, motherfucker, coming after my archers. I want to be both uphill and pull the enemy to that edge of the marsh. They've got Cav pursuing, but I have Cav pursuing the pursuers, right? This is a counter charge. We're basically protecting our archers while they get into position. I've got this big clumsy line here. These guys they're not positioned correctly. 60 in the 5th Corps. Okay. I've got 26 infantry still. We're in good shape, but our army is greatly weakened at this stage. A lot of guys are injured, of course. A lot of guys are out of ammunition completely, including archers. So we're getting a little bit in a desperate situation as far as tactics. I've got archers that don't have a shield, that now their only route to success is going to be attacking the enemy. Well, the enemy's got horse archers, right? They're not going to comply and just charge in so that they can be attacked by our two-handed Battanian Fiend Champs and other one-handed archers, right? They're just not... it's a bad situation to be in, and I also don't have enough cav really to wrap up these horse archers. Now, fortunately, right now it's only 62. We're going to have some guys that have ammo left, although, at this stage, the ammo levels are very low.
Infantry, footmen, form a square. Cavalry, form a line.
I do got to give props to a couple subscribers. A couple guys have helped me recently. When you bring up your unit numbers, right? When you issue a command, it brings up the full menu of your different units. There's a little tiny white bar. I don't know if you guys can see that there. There's a little white bar that basically indicates how much ammo in general that division has. This is a really nice trick that, incredibly, I've played thousands of hours of this game and didn't know this. This is just one of those things, right? There's so much going on. Of course, in battles, I've got so much I'm focusing on. Never mind trying to make coherent narration here for you. But that's a really nice tip, right? You can actually use your unit, hold it up, and see how many different units have how much ammo, right? This is a pretty nice tip. I appreciate the subscriber who gave me that. So just fending off their horse archers. It's me and like 6 other fucking horse archers to countercharge. It's not a good situation, but it's what we have. Of course, our entire channel is dedicated to hard battles. You're not going to see a whole lot of battles where we're even numbered with the enemy and just run right through them. I mean, that we do have a few where we showed some interesting tactics, but most of the time in our campaign, we are fighting everybody except every once in a while Sturges on our side. And so it's going to be non-stop challenge. I'm not quite sure what that guy's doing there. I got one archer who's just like a tree hugging there. What he's doing is he's going to get killed. He's got archers shooting him. You see I have the 1st Infantry here in a square. Let me get this shield. I'm now to the point where my javelins are very low. Always on the lookout for javelins. I still see some of my guys shooting, but at this stage I think both armies have nearly expended their arrow load. These horse archers must still have arrows, otherwise they wouldn't be attacking, right? They would be charging with the rest of their troops. Yeah, like I almost got a blow off. So that's a perfect example right there. That last encounter, if you need to rewind it 10 seconds just to see, I get hit over the head for serious damage if I have a slower pole arm. I would not recommend personally any pole arm that's below 75 speed. You want some good length, of course. Everybody, you need a little bit of length out there, right, fellas? But it's actually more important, I think, to have some speed with that length. Look at this fucking guy up here charging with his flag. Fucking dipshit. Yeah, their forces are just in a big block there, right at the edge of the marsh. And I think it's time for us to make an attack on these guys. I've got a fucking pole arm in my spine bouncing up and down every time I fucking ride my horse. Just using that first infantry as bait, and it's doing a good job. It's distracting a lot of their cav. They're charging that instead of our archers. And then, of course, if they do get deeper, last order you ever give, bitch. If they do get deeper in our units, I just attack. We'll counterattack. It's time to get aggressive with these fucks. These insolent fucking piece of shit Khazate just gonna sit here and waste your time, waste my time. We're gonna surround and destroy these fucks. Moving my first infantry up in a square that protects them from horse archers and, of course, archers from the front. These guys are in a tight block. I just see archers just standing there. Let's bitch slap some of these motherfuckers. They can't really get a shot off on me because they're all bound up here. Well, you guys go ahead and assume your shit position. We're gonna fucking surround you and destroy you. I'm moving the 1st and 4th over here on this flank. The 1st, of course, is in that square. 5th and 6th are on the other side, and we're going to make an aggressive attack here. The 1st infantry I'll be shifting into a shield wall, just so, of course, that they can attack the enemy up in front with defense. And then our other units here, hopefully we can wrap around the sides of the enemy. The enemy's starting to reform here, slash get their archers spread out. We're still going to attack, though. They've still got a strong infantry block here. When I run through like that with my pole arm, I like to stay at the back row. That way the guys in the back row, like the 2nd and 3rd row, aren't shooting you. If you're at the back row, there's nothing behind you, right? There's no units behind you shooting at you. If you run towards the front, you're going to eat a lot of arrows. The screen is all green. The enemy's fucking panicked or reforming. Bring more enemies next time. Troops are pursuing at this stage, but honestly, like I'm kind of willing to have a death charge here. A lot of our units are completely out of ammunition. We're going to have to essentially sort of kamikaze these troops just to get more troops with reinforcements. At some point, you don't have much choice but to be aggressive, continue with the attack. God, these guys are running all the way back to the other side of the marsh. Well, obviously, we're not going to pursue them through the entire length of the marsh. See you coming, motherfucker. The swearing is a vestige of 30 years in the fire service and the military. I apologize if it grates on the ears of people. I guess I would say for those people, you know, I'm not trying to scare anybody away from our channel, but you probably want to find a different channel where we're going to do a little bit of swearing. A lot of people think that swearing is an example of someone who has a very poor vocabulary. Well, I assure you that's not the case. I'm a heavy reader of books. My mother was an English teacher. I have a very wide vocabulary. In fact, sometimes I have to try to not use some of the larger words, assiduous and You know, some of these very, very large words that many people aren't even familiar with, because I don't want to alienate people watching the channel. But I'm one of those people who likes to think that swearing can be used with other eloquent vocabulary as a way of emphasis, right? The F word, it's a great word for emphasis. Nothing beats the F word if you smash your finger on a hammer. It just doesn't make it feel better if you say, "Oh darn, that hurt. Fuck, that hurt," right? It just makes you feel better. Anybody who's nearby knows that you just smashed your finger with a hammer, right? It's like a universal language. So we are going to do some swearing, and I think the whole notion that people who use profanity, you know, are somehow unintelligent, uneducated clods needs to go away. I don't have a lot of formal college, but I have an enormous amount of reading and quite a wide vocabulary, and I still like to swear. My wife is actually part of a face group of about 100 of her friends, and it's something like sophisticated, intelligent women who love to use the word fuck. So just another example of it. All right, we're peeling back here again. Incredibly, this is still our main, I think. Maybe one reinforcement rank came in and I didn't notice. Maybe when I was talking a second ago, but I don't think we've had reinforcements once in this battle. We've just been able to sort of bob and weave here and bounce back and forth with the enemy, protect our units with shield walls, and really put a beating on these Khazate. Again, they're very distracted shooting their arrows, and I'm just racking up the kills here. Swinging my fist at them, that was not ideal. I don't recommend that. You notice I try to stay towards the back of the horse archers. Same concept as the archers. When the archers are in a big long line and you're charging them, attack the back rank. If you have a bunch of horse archers, try to be at the back, behind them, attacking. That way you don't take random arrows in the face. Okay, I have reinforcements. I've got infantry reinforcements that are in the forest here, kind of attacking the enemy headlong. We're going to join them. I've got archers behind me. It looks like they joined either the 5th and 6th Corps. We've got to chop down some of these infantry. A lot of their guys are charging, even though they're archers too. That's because both sides have sort of expended their quivers, right? We're down to good old-fashioned fucking coming to grips, like when they would do a bayonet charge, right? Everybody's out of ammunition. It comes down to just raw, primal stabbing people in the face. There's still horse archers behind us. I'm not that concerned about it, but I don't want to be fighting in the trees there. I can't see. It's tactically difficult as a commander to figure out what the fuck's going on. So I'm pulling my units back. We're going to suffer some losses on the pullback here. The horse archers are kind of charging in here. It's very messy right now. But I do have a nice archer tranche moving up to the other side of this little open glade. And I get my infantry out of here. I think we should be able to do a pretty good number on the enemies. We can stick our archers up on that hill where they'll have some elevation, be able to shoot over our shield wall. I've got just a few elite companions left. One of my best knights who's in all legendary armor. He's usually one of my last knights standing. I think his name is Ilmir. Fucking stupid name, whoever named him that. Now all we're trying to do here is essentially assist our troops to retreat, right? Every guy I knock down is a guy that's not attacking our infantry, and every guy I kill, of course, is a guy that's not attacking our infantry. All right, infantry in a square now, and we're going to try to get our archers at an angle to this square. Meanwhile, I've got 9 guys in the 5th, 1 in the 4th, and then the 8th Corps is charging. These 5th are almost certainly Britannian Fianchamps or archers. Yeah, these guys right here. We're going to send them in on the side of the square, right? Any enemies that's not attacking the square, we want to try to repel these guys. If you just observe the power bar, it basically says that we lose this battle for sure. Look at these guys just standing up here. What the fuck are you guys doing? Get over here, help me. Working on my taekwondo here, working on my karate, doing a little kicking. All right, now I'm going to get these few guys left, these Britannian fiends, these last few stoic guys behind this square Our archers continue to joust with their archers, and we're going to try to protect our units. Again, we're going to run out of ammunition pretty quick. Our guys are doing their best to pick up arrows on the ground. We remain seriously outnumbered in this battle. Of course, every stage of it, pretty much, we've been outnumbered. I want to pull their enemy forces out of the trees again. I can't really see what they're doing, how many of them there are. And so we're just pulling everybody back here systematically. These guys are running around picking up arrows. That'll certainly help. Oh, fuck. They have horse archers behind them. I didn't even see that. Look at all the arrows in my shield. I don't think I have very many in myself, like 1 or 2 in my actual body, but all the ones on the shield. Punish these fucking horse archers again. I told my units, my archers, to stand still. What that does, of course, is they immediately start to shoot. They're firing at these guys as they try to retreat. Good thing is we're down to middle tier Khazate horse archers. We've killed so many of their elite horse archers, there's Khan's Guard and heavy horse archers, that they're down to, I don't want to say scrubs, but these are very soft, weak horse archers. And they're retreating and being slaughtered while they're retreating, right? It's this terrible fucking pullback attempt they make. They're just basically sitting ducks. Oh, here comes heavy cav. See if we can't entice them with our square here. They've got Jav Cavalins as well. Alright, we're countercharging with the first. I've shifted them into a shield wall and told them to attack. I want those guys foaming at the mouth, attacking this enemy force. The screen remains green. It's been green for a while. Tactically, it's been one destructive exchange after another. In a chess match, this would be every single time we take a bishop, they get 1 pawn. We took a rook, they get a pawn. I don't know how many forces the enemy has left, and I don't know how many forces I have left. I've mentioned it before. I don't typically bring up the status bar during fights, but I would say at this stage, we're likely to win. Maybe some people don't want me to make predictions like that. If you don't want to hear stuff like that, you can always let me know in the comment box. Continuing to pull my units back. I don't want the enemy in the trees like that down there. Also, the closer we are to our reinforcements and the further they are from their reinforcements, the better. I've got our units way up here. I know we're going to get reinforcements somewhere around here. That means as the enemy's attacking us, if we get to the point where the threshold where the game gives you artificial, or the AI, or whatever you want to consider it, gives you reinforcements, those reinforcements will be right next to us. Meanwhile, the enemy's reinforcements are going to be a long ways away. I've got quite a few shock troops in this first division, which is kind of sub-ideal. It'd be nice if they're in a different division, but they're all jumbled into one. The enemy's now out of the trees. I think it's time to attack this force. They're firing 1,000 arrows at us, but a lot of them are finding shields. Now they're charging with cav. We like this. These little sad, pathetic cav charges. He hits me for 1 damage. I hit him for 111. I mean, it's fair, right? Alright, it's time to attack this force. A lot of our guys are out of ammo. We're going to try to wrap around them with the archers. The archers here are going to have to come into melee. They only have about 180 infantry. I say only. And they have 300 fucking archers here. I mean, I'm killing a guy like every fucking second because they're so thick. Up we come. We're going to try to get a little flank action. I'm going to drag the 6th around onto the side. I can't do anything about their horse archers right now. I've got to focus on this huge line of troops. 8th Corps is sent in to attack the 5th. These last handful of Battanian Fiend Champs are sent in to attack. Now I'm going to terrorize these guys from the flank. Got a nice little tree here to hide behind. Come out like an assassin, kill some guys, and then just back up to my tree. Where the fuck is these 6th archers? Hurry the fuck up. Alright, now the archers come in on the enemy's flank. The enemy's not going to like this at all. Fucking stubborn archers, die. Their infantry's behind them for some reason. Again, I can just hear the stupid commander on their side. Have archers spread in the front. Infantry behind them. But sir, our archers will be vulnerable. Quit questioning me. I'm the commander. These guys are just getting absolutely butchered, and it just seems like their infantry is watching. I think they just charged. Yeah, okay, so the infantry's joining the battle, but their archers are still totally vulnerable here at the front. We're going to chop as many of these guys down as we can get to. I've got a long line of infantry in front of me. There's shock troops in there. Kill them all. We have 220 troops. We must have got reinforcements. It looks like unfortunately, it looks like our reinforcements are way across the valley there, like on the other side of the fucking marsh. Look at them way over there. You see those little white dots in the forest? That's very bad. I don't know why the game is doing that to us, but it's basically dramatically dividing our forces here. Fuckers are throwing javelins, motherfuckers. So what am I going to do about a situation like that? Well, right now I have them on charge, right? I have these archers on charge, which is suboptimal. And I see enemy forces over there as well. But if I don't do that, what they're going to do is if I tell them, for example, to come over here, the whole time they're running, they're going to get ran down by cavalry, attacked by infantry. We're getting dissolved here too because our reinforcements came in at the wrong fucking spot. But there's nothing you can do about this in a battle other than to roll with the punches. I'm actually going to just reassume the new army. So this old batch of troops is sent into charge. Right, those guys are on a death charge. And I'm going to go fucking basically follow my army here. Because the reinforcement system sort of fucked me, we're going to do our best to reform our lines. But I don't like this for two reasons. First, I assume my next batch of reinforcements now is going to be in a bad spot. It's going to be away from us. Second, I can't see shit. And I was going to say, second, I'm right next to the enemy spawn spot. But I also can't see shit. We're in the dense forest here. And these guys look like they're being attacked right away. I see the enemy just pouring in on them. This is about as bad a scenario as it could be. This is the kind of thing that definitely causes you to lose a battle like this. My little status bar death map up there is mostly red. Things went from being almost entirely green to lots and lots of red as my divided troops are fucking torn apart here. I've got a line of infantry that's at least fighting it out, but look at the enemies just spread out here. This is very bad for us. I get these archers up here, at least they can start taking some shots. Get off your horse. These archers have nowhere to set up because of these hills. The angles of the hills make it worse for them to shoot. I know I just sound like a complaining bitch right now, but that's the reality of it. We're in a bad spot. They got horse archers behind us. We do film our losses on Tactical Enlightenment. Of course, anybody who's watching this episode or forgotten this, we don't obviously lose very often. I said at the beginning of this episode, that's one of the keys to winning at Bannerlord is to make sure your army doesn't get captured, lose all your troops. Everybody's got to be ransomed. But, you know, I try to show, especially significant losses, right? And usually they're significant. We rarely have a loss where it's not significant. So you're never going to know in a battle like this. Of course, I don't know while I'm narrating this, right? I don't know if you can hear a level of stress in my voice. I'm not immune to the strain of battle, right? This is in our campaign. If we get captured in this battle, we are in a very bad spot. We've got the main army here. I've got this other idiot Castor and a couple other clan leaders that occasionally make an army, but they're highly unreliable. They're like that uncle of yours that, you know, he says he'll help you with the moving project and is nowhere to be seen. You know, they're just, you can't count on them. And so this main army we have, if we're not winning 95% plus of our battles, we're in trouble. Look at this. It put our reinforcements all the way fucking across the valley. It's almost like the system is conspiring to fuck us right now. 50, 80. Look at the screen. It's all red. They're just being massacred. Right. This is just something we're going to have to eat. We're going to set up a new line here. I just got reinforcements and we're already down to 130 troops. We persevere. We're going to set up new lines over here. If life gives you lemonade or lemons, right? You make lemonade. We might be losing now, but we haven't given up. Archers up on this wall. I don't have a lot of tactical options here at this stage. Of course, one of the things that happens late in battles and very long battles like this is you start to get your units compressed. I don't know why it does that. I wish it wasn't so severe. I mean, I'm down to basically 3 usable units, and it's really only 2. I've got archers and infantry. You could still do some dynamic tactics with that, but it's extremely limited to compared to having 6 or 7 divisions. That's why I recommend, if you want to get really good at your field tactics, to have 6, 7, 8 divisions. That can be daunting at first. If you're trying to get to the stage where you can command 8 comfortably, command them confidently, then check out our channel, right? I've got a whole series of instructional videos where I'm basically trying to help fellow Bannerlord players get to a level where you can confidently command 8 units at the same time. It takes practice, of course, just like juggling 8 balls at the same time. But if I did it, I'm confident you can too. Screen is turning green again here. We've got a cav line, an infantry line. We've got 1 horse archer. And then I've got this wall of infantry charging now in shield wall. And there's some good looking troops in here. I see wildlings. I've got archers shooting, largely protected. They have a few horse archers here, but not that many. And I can join my men here in battle. I'd like to get the archers astride the enemy, right? They're all sort of facing our shield wall here. It's going to take about 20 seconds, but if I can get those horse archers moved over here, right behind me, all those guys are going to be pounding the enemy with enfilade fire. And this is a good example of how you still can use tactics in a situation like this. Of course, I have a shield wall that's holding place, right? It's basically holding their spot, and that's so that these archers can get to their spot, right? To get to their spot to shoot these guys from the side. They finally are arriving there. Look at the arrows just whistling through there, right? These guys are getting eviscerated by arrows. I'm almost knocked unconscious here. It's inevitable. But with this RTS mod, right, I've used it a few times now. It's pretty cool. I'll be able to assume another one of my troops and continue commanding on the battlefield. Got these fucking guys out for the bounty, trying to kill me. Motherfuckers. I just had more archers pop in as reinforcements. Fuck you, get off. Got a few javelins here. Of course, even a horse charging and hitting me is enough to kill me at this stage. Got some cav I can line up in a defensive line here. Even just an accidental arrow shot, though, is going to drop me at this stage. Like that. Shot in the neck. Alright, what characters can we use here? I've got cataphracts. What I'd like to have is I'd like to have an axe-wielding motherfucker. I'm just sort of cycling through my units. No, I want an axe. Where's the... This is what I'm talking about here. So this is basically a weaker version of my own character. I'm used to a two-handed weapon. I'm just comfortable with the two-handed weapon. Granted, he runs slower, and his axe is like a huge wind-up, slow swinging axe because it's such a big, slow axe. But this is still comparable to my character. And it's working beautifully. I can still continue to command my troops just as if my main character was still up. I mean, I don't know how long he made it. It's probably 30 or 40 minutes into the battle. He made it a long ways. But now we're going to be able to continue the battle as a palace guard, as one of these savage two-handed weapon motherfuckers. Yeah, I've got heavy cav, a decent line of heavy cav, a good line of infantry, and these archers. And looking at the archers, there's some pretty high ranked archers in there still. One advantage that we almost always have on our opponents is that late in a battle, we have higher level troops, right? My whole army, 400 troops, there's probably 50 or 100 total units that aren't tier 5. And most of the units are units that I'm leveling up, right? They're the Battanian, the Highborn Warrior and stuff like that. They're the guys that are future murdering Battanian Fiend Champs. I'm always trying to level some of those guys up and cycle them through. So my army typically will have 30 or 40 of those guys in it. It might have some middle tier infantry or cav, but most of our units are tier 5, right? And so at this stage of the battle, the enemy's down to tier 4, tier 3, even tier 2 troops. We have a significant advantage. I'm just going to try to drive this cav train right through the enemy here. The enemy's ignoring our square, so we're having our infantry charge. Actually, I don't know where the enemy's going. They're like wandering off. My cav is behind me, mowing a path through all those infantry that just tried to come up. The enemy's kind of trapping their infantry. They're so overextended. You can see the screen is all green at this stage. I swing slow, but it basically kills everything it hits. Got heavy cav charging through their infantry. Now they just have archers. We can move up aggressively on this shit. Let's drive cav right through these fucks. They're coming up to shoot. Catch a throwing axe, motherfuckers. I got a couple javelins he was able to pick up. Slow but effective. Almost 400 infantry. Let's move in aggressively on these fucks. We've got the momentum. We've got the higher level troops. The enemy's disjointed and spread out. Let's fucking pursue. This guy is no horseman. This horse is like almost as slow as the guys running on the ground. You know, I've played enough to see this body language from the enemy. They're routing. These guys have had enough. They're down to recruits. They're down to low-tier archers. This battle's over. I mean, unless they turn and put on a big defensive stand here, I think this fucking battle's over. They've got 500 troops left, but I think we've put such a whipping, repeated tactical destroying exchanges here that they're gone. They're still quasi-defending, but I think they're just making for the exits. Oops. Yeah, they're fleeing for sure. They're just making no effort to attack me. They're just heading for the doors. I have a javelin in the back. One for the road there, boys. All right. Well, another improbable, successful victory, right? The enemy continues to ambush us. In this case, we were ambushed right after taking one of their castles. They had a very large army. It's kind of strange, actually. They had a large army, and right before they got to attack us, it disassembled. Right? I don't know if you guys have seen that before. It broke apart. I think the guy ran out of whatever it is, influence to keep the cohesion of his army together, and that actually benefited them because all of a sudden their units were moving a lot faster, and they were able to close in on us before I was able to get back to the castle. Nevertheless, I bet at this stage they wish they went the other direction, right? 2,900 enemies put into the dirt here, and we only have about 250 men left, but we still crushed a much larger force with our army here of 1,000. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully there were some tactics here that benefited you if you're fighting the Khazate. I appreciate all the comments, all the subscriptions, fellas. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to continue on with the campaign here. It's getting very difficult in this little foray here. Trying to put some pressure on the Khazate. Of course, our main homeland is under pressure. I'll be heading back there just to kind of see what's standing. But we fight on, and I appreciate the support this whole time through, fellas. See you guys next time.